If you have unfiled tax returns, multiple years of unfiled tax returns, and you're going to mail these tax returns into the IRS, you're going to prepare them in your tax software, you're going to sign them, date them, mail them into the IRS. Should you put them all in one envelope or in separate envelopes per return? That is the question that this individual asked on Reddit recently. Apparently, they have not filed their 2020, 21, and 2022 tax returns. They're ready to send them in, right? So they prepared them, but they have a question, and here's their question. As stated above, question is, should I send them all in one envelope or separately? One check or three? And furthermore, should I estimate my penalty and include that with my payment and a letter begging mercy? If so, how do I estimate the penalty amounts? What's the right approach? I'm going to deal with each of these questions one by one. Let's start with the first one. Should I send them all in one envelope or separately? I would highly recommend, if you intend on paper filing these returns, to put them each in their own envelope. Yes, this will cost a little bit more, especially if you're employing the best practice of sending them via certified mail, so that you can know the certified mail with return receipt, so that you get the return receipt back, letting you know the IRS did actually receive the mail. So it's going to be a little more costly, a little more time consuming to separate them into 3 separate envelopes. But the reason for this is because, and I have personally had this happen when I was a rookie CPA. We had the client come in, sign the returns, and then we mailed them. I put them all in one envelope, and I mailed them all to the IRS. I figured, well, they're all going to the same place. Come to find out, the IRS only processed that first one that was in the envelope when they opened it, and I don't know what happened to the other two, right? So we had to resubmit the other two. Basically, what I'm saying is that when you're dealing with paper in the IRS, processing mistakes can happen. Human error can happen. There's a person at the IRS opening, right, the envelope, saying that, oh, this is the 2019 return or 2020 return or whatever, and then processing it, right? And mistakes can happen. So for this reason, I would put them in separate envelopes. Let's take a step back here. This individual is asking this question in late December when I'm creating this video. And I assume this individual is intending to file these returns via paper mail right now because e-file has shut down until the next filing season, which starts in January next month. I would say, look, 2020, yeah, you're going to have to paper file that one. But you could still e-file 2021 and 2022 when e-file opens up again in a few weeks. Okay, so that's another option here. When you e-file, you can e-file the last 3 years of returns. So when e-file opens again, this individual would be able to file 21, 22, and obviously their 2023 tax return. 2020 would still have to be paper filed. So to avoid 3 envelopes and the 3 certified mail with return receipt, you could just wait a few weeks to file 21, 22, but get 2020 return in the mail now. Next question. Let's go back to the screen here. Next question. 1 check or 3? I would again recommend, if you're going to be sending them in separate envelopes, right? You're not going to be e-filing any of them. You're dead set on paper filing. Fine. You're going to be sending them in a separate envelope, separate check in each envelope, right? With the tax year on there, right? Your SSN in the memo line. Even better option, though, than depending on a paper check being processed correctly and applied correctly, is to just pay online. You can go to irs.gov/payments/direct-pay. Go down here, click make a payment. You'd select balance due, apply payment to income tax, and then you select the year right here, and then make each payment separately. You'll get a receipt, a confirmation. That's what I would do. If I were in this individual situation where they have the means to pay the tax due. I would make that payment now, right, before they even mail it in, and that would minimize a little bit penalties and interest potentially. And speaking of penalties and interest, let's talk about the next part of the question here. Furthermore, should I estimate my penalty and include that with my payment in a letter begging mercy? I would say, in our experience, it's better to wait until the penalty has been assessed before you try to go for abatement. Okay, that's just our experience. I don't have a chapter and verse in the IRM for that, but that has just been our experience, right? And because at this point, because the returns have not been filed and presumably no SFRs have been prepared by the IRS for these tax years, these are pretty late tax years for SFRs we prepared yet. No penalties have been assessed yet, right? The penalties won't be assessed until the tax return is processed. So I would say, based on our experience, just wait until the IRS sends you the bill, right? They're going to process these returns, send you the CP14 with the breakdown of the tax you owe, penalties, and interest. Then at that point, you could request penalty abatement. If so, how do I estimate the penalty amounts? Well, I just said you shouldn't do that. What's the right approach? And when it comes to penalty abatement, there's a couple ways you can approach it. The first is reasonable cause, which is basically making an argument to the IRS that you had reasonable cause. You had a good reason to not file these returns and pay the taxes you owe. Okay, so that's reasonable cause. There's also first-time abate, which basically is on the basis of, look, IRS, I've been a very good taxpayer historically. So on that basis, please abate some of the penalties and the interest on the penalties on my account. And in this case, presuming that the taxpayer had a good compliance history, he may be able to get the penalties for tax year 2020 abated under first time abate. But anyway, yeah, that's how I would approach this issue. Please let me know if you have any comments or questions about why I thought through this the way I did down in the comment section of this video. Thanks for watching, folks. See you in the next video. Bye-bye.